Hi everybody, my name is Zoe and I recently graduated from Monash University. For my final year honours project, I explored the integration of reinforcement learning in interactive art. A key challenge faced by artists with interactive art installations is maintaining or increasing engagement with installation visitors. We hypothesised that the use of a learning agent in such an installation would improve engagement of users due to its ability to learn users' preferences over time in comparison to installations with only pre-scripted interactions. In collaboration with Playable Streets, an interactive art company, we integrated reinforcement learning into their installation titled The Plants. The Plants encourages people to create their own musical compositions by touching real plants to play sounds and pieces. The set of sounds the plants play when touched is called the sound bank. The artist chooses the sound bank for each exhibition and it doesn't change throughout. The initial study was to display the physical installation at Monash University to allow passers-by to interact and engage. However, due to COVID-19, the study was pivoted to an online platform. We implemented temporal difference learning as the reinforcement learning algorithm because it doesn't require a full model of the system or the user. The action and state sets were both discrete. The states were potential sound banks the installation could play. The sound banks were significantly different, so the user could easily tell when sound banks had changed during their interaction. The actions changed to a predetermined sound bank state. For example, if action 0 was changed, the resultant state was 0. The reward for learning was based off the level of engagement of the user. We used the number of touches as the proxy for the level of engagement of a user. The more touches in a time period, the greater the perceived engagement. Over 16 days, the installation and study was advertised through social media and the university forums. The study was conducted as a randomized blind study. Users were given the link, which randomly allocated them to one of 3 identical-looking modes. Mode 1, the single sound bank mode, where only one sound bank was used throughout the entire interaction. The artist chose the harp sound bank. This mode is the original interaction experience intended by Playable Streets. Mode 2 was the constantly changing sound bank mode, where sound banks cycled through a predetermined order in a set time interval. This mode aimed to reduce any potential bias of increased engagement by participants due only to a changing sound bank. And Mode 3, where reinforcement learning was implemented. Users could play with the plants by pressing on them on the screen and eliciting sounds. There was no time limit to their interaction, and they could quit at any time. There was also no time limit to the number of times users could try their installation during the study. After choosing to end the interaction, they were brought to an optional survey. 171 interactions and 109 survey responses were recorded, and 2 types of data was gathered: user app data and survey data. The app data was collected by everyone who participated. This included their mode, duration of interaction, and more. And the survey data was only collected by those who completed the survey. We found that the reinforcement learning mode had a statistically significant higher average level of engagement than the other 2 modes. However, there was no significant difference in the duration people spent interacting with the installation in each of these modes. The results showed us that the beatboxing sound bank was the most preferred state. So one possible explanation for the lack of difference in duration between the 3 modes may be that the beatboxing had shorter sounds and therefore increased engagement, but not necessarily longer overall interactions. The majority of ratings for each question from the survey was a 4 or above. However, there was no statistical difference between the ratings of the modes. In this study, we were able to show that interactive art installations with reinforcement learning had greater user engagement as compared to ones with pre-scripted behaviour. However, in the future, there are several potential improvements to consider. One is that the originally planned study with the physical installation should still be conducted to compare the translation of a digital version of the installation to the actual physical installation. If similar interactions and response patterns are observed, this could mean that the digital installation could be a promising framework for prototyping of installations before physical implementation by the artist. Thank you for listening, and please feel free to contact me if you have any questions.